in a like a relationship of a like a father and son. Where is that fatherhood comes into picture? The successful learning promotes and germinates successful learning. That means, if you get what is success and other thing that has to be looked at it. But I will tell you that it's like a prem, love. Love spreads. Love like smile spreads. So similarly, if I smile, if I, laugh, you will also feel of laughing. Similarly, that love is required, and love for learning. Love for learning should be there, and love for learners. See, these are things which are to be, and also if you look at an institution, institute is like a temple of learning. That's why you call temple of learning. But where is that institute where that is coming up? So therefore, if these basic concepts, of course, if you look at, I'm looking from the eyes of my, like my ancestors, through the eyes of my ancestors. I say, look, this is a beautiful kind of things. We take this opportunity of outcome-based education, try to inculcate, try to put that thing, what was our ancestors were professing, but we are away from that and do that. So therefore, we're coming back to this. We need to have a clarity. See, clarity is very important, and so also the concentration. Today, we are lacking concentration because we are in the utter confusions, So therefore, we'll have to we'll march from the confusion to the clarity, and what you call very mind to the meditation, like meditative mind. Chaotic mind to the meditative mind. That is the, we need to look at it, and we'll have to look at the opportunities, what we can provide to the student. And the ultimate objective of this outcome-based education is basically to design your own way of teaching, which of course may be done, but I'm afraid that with this MBA accreditation, which is imposing, that may not happen. But anyway, this is some areas to start. So we can start from here and see that our way of doing, and we'll have to maybe NEP 2020 will help us in empowering us to do that, because it is having a component of autonomy. And how we'll manage the autonomy is also important. And that if we'll do, and teacher can become a true teacher, not for just for the sake of food or for a salary, then we are having a great hope for doing that. And so far structure of curriculum is concerned, like, which is very important, according to me, the structure should be, flexible. Of course, I will go one step further. What outcome-based education has not thought about is that each individual will have their own curriculum to be utilized according to mine. Because this is not mine, it is our ancestor, what they were prophesying, right? Each individual is having very different. The pace of learning also different. If you go to the scriptures, you will find that there are people who will be learning very fast. Maybe, entire Vedas, they will be learning maybe 4 or 5 years. And some people will be taking 20 years to learn. So therefore, that flexibility was earlier there, and that will be also somebody will be learning about different things. So that depending on their own nature, and that is, it has to be, of course, we cannot be looked at this moment, but maybe in futuristic we'll have to think, find out how to do, what not to do. So therefore, what I was talking about is the clarity of, very important thing, and designing back of your, and you should have a, what you call the time, because when you define the outcomes, you should also the little flexible in that in nature, but too much of flexibility will spoil as such, according to me. So therefore, there should be a room for innovations or creativities to express your creativity. and design curriculum. Then, of course, how to you interact and provide an environment so that they will be learned. Of course, actual outcome-based education talks about delivering the instructions, according to me. That is not the right way. Rather, it should be more active way of learning. And today, active way of learning is very much talked about it, but it is not in practice. If you can make it practice, it will be very wonderful. And in engineering, there are various ways of doing the things. There are a lot of ample chances of doing that. And let me tell you, I'll give an example. I'm really unhappy with the system where this experimental setup being purchased from outside and do that. No, that should not be any fixed. And this experimental setup is lying for 20 years. I always quarrel with my colleagues that, hey, what you are doing, right? Because the people are having mindset and they don't want to change and that they want to have a good life. But whereas, according to me, the experimental setup will be like this. Like, what is that? You give some components, let the people, assemble themselves, and each semester it will be changing, and it's not the same thing. Same set of things will be given. For that, a teacher has to work hard. Institute has to spend a lot of money. Like, or a permutation can be done. Money can be minimized as well. So therefore, and also it should be practical oriented. Engineering, a lot of scope for to do that what I am suggesting. And there should be also the methodology of assessing and also see what are the things. Because the educational research is missing in this country, as a matter of fact. And that is very important because we cannot really borrow and copy and paste. We'll have to develop our own. Let me tell you, in each, see, India is not a country, it is a subcontinent. So therefore, each state or each these things are having their own psychology or own way of doing the thing. So therefore, that has to be very. See, when I did my course on introduction to ancient Indian technology, I was aghast by what it was there earlier days. If you look at building structures today, everywhere is same. But earlier days, each place are having their own way of doing the thing, and which is according to the geographical sense, it was right, according to my understanding. So therefore, they were very smart, and we became a copycat and then spoiling. And for that, you have to do research, you have to find out educational research is basically qualitative research has to be done. The quantitative is different, qualitative, all those things has to be looked at. And determine the how you are improving on that. This is basically, I always feel, I've also experimented on that, but of course the institution, they, doesn't subscribe to that. See, this grading system is really spoiling. You cannot compare the people and then, take some average and then do that. No, each individual is having their own way of learning. So the grading or the assessment of a student has to be done with respect to that. So therefore, that will be helpful. And when we're talking about this is the self-monitoring system. Self-monitoring system means what? And self-assessing. You'll have to monitor as a teacher what you are doing is right or wrong. Of course, the institute will be coming to teachers, and then educational. What is we'll try to debate each other, and then that really they won't be coming up well. So whatever the data will be coming, it may not be right according to me, because this is a game which is going on. I'm like, whatever I have seen in my these things. It is the teacher has to be assess himself, assess the student, assess the learning process, assess the what you call the how it is progressing. And what I will say that this has to be looked at in a very, very different way. What is happening today? We are learning from West that vision, mission, and other things. Now, if you look at most of the vision of all the institutes, most of the institutes are turns out to be, same or similar, if not same. But that need not to be. That should not be. What is that? We want to be the world-class institute. Hey, what is this? Is it possible? That's not possible. Sometimes I laugh. Hey, what is happening? It's a copy and paste. If all will be world-class, then who will be the world worst? No, you should have that having their own vision. Institute should have, which is unfortunately not there today. Because today the vision is not coming from the people, it is coming from the party, outsourcing. Most of the visions are outsourced visions. So therefore, that will not come back. And then when you will have, there should be a mission, and this all your programs should be oriented to that. For example, I'll tell you how we can do that. You might be knowing classical music, like Allavadi Gharana. That is a very different. Their way of doing the same song, they will be singing in a different way. That is the beauty of engineering education. That is the beauty of the practice. When you do some practice, then, but we do not practice, engineering as such. So therefore, each institution will be different. And today, of course, the people talk about holistic. And holistic is very innate to the Indian way of looking at. We do not have this moment. So therefore, when you look at this vision, mission, each department is having vision and mission. But most of the vision and missions are to be coming from the system, depending on the prevailing situation there and the kind of people there. Not that you'll have to look at a book or look at some other things and copy and paste because of this. Sometimes I feel this kind of, it could have been no communication, then it could have been a very good, from this perspective, right? That you don't have where to go to Google and then get the vision mission and then make your vision mission, that is over. No, that is not. So this should be otherwise. Then if you look at the department vision and mission has to be reflected in your POs, program outcomes, and PSO, program specific outcomes, and program education objectives. These are the kinds of things what being done about that. And if you look at this, of course, in today's context, the engineering component in the engineering education is reducing day by day, which is I'm having my own concern. Because what is happening, the non-engineering components have taken over. But according to me, the engineering component should be priority, and this should be practice-based. It should be like the way earlier days it is being done in a guild system. There is a group of people who are developed. For example, if you look at Kaveri Dam, that river, which is something 2,000 years old. Now, I must tell you, because I have done some, some studies on that. It's so wonderfully made. Was it that the engineer was, being developed by the NITTs and this? No, certainly no. But they were developed. They were very great engineers, according to me. So therefore, we need to look at practicing, and then that way, coming back to that, what I was taking, that what is our local needs? Do we know? For example, your college in Andhra, but that is the primary objective of that institute is to serve Andhra. That is according to my personal view. Then comes the nation. Then comes the global, right? So what is the need of that so far engineering thing is concerned? So far their geographical, resources are concerned. What is happening today? We are going in a very wrong way according to my personal understanding. I mean, I may be wrong. That means if materials, whatever available there, I start to use. So therefore, I need not to get very exotic material and then do that. So we'll have to live with that, and then that is the constraint for us to do short-term kind of things. So coming back to that, we should have a, industries. When you take the input from the industries for the developing these things, and from where we will take, that is a very, very big questions. But what I am giving a solution, if it will be, suppose I will be taking the industry, what is around me, around the places, then it will be easier. That is their duties as to give us our students and teachers and other things. And what we are doing as a mentor training programs, I must tell you that the teachers, wherever they are coming, they must be basically trained how to teach. They must be exposed to the industry, and all those components are being included in the this NTT National Teachers Training Programs and other things. And I hope that it will be very helpful for the new teachers. And that if you look at the program outcomes, is basically knowledge and skill, and of course the has to be the skill has to be, what you call acquired, and that too you need to practice. It's not that skill means people say, oh, I'll go and teach in the class and then it will be. For example, you are driving a car, right? So how many times you might have failed? How many times you might have not put your brake properly, but you will have to develop a skill, and over the years it comes. Whereas that kind of thing is not available in our, and there will be hard skill and there is a soft skill, and Indians are were very good. We're doing abroad particularly. So that is, of course, they have made. I think most of you might be knowing. I'll just mention some of them. Like there should be a let's say, for if it is engineering, it will be have a engineering knowledge, kind of things. And according to me, that should be an kind of a practicing engineer. That is important. And today, the earlier days, design was given very important. For example, when I was a student, I had exposed to at least 3-4 papers in design. Today, designing is a different department. Like in mechanical engineering, we have learned about 3 design courses where you will have to make up, thing, and there's a final this thing. Whatever you design, it has to be produced and it has to be made to work, right, in the final year project. So therefore, it's a very integrated way. Earlier days it was there, but today I think it is all disjoint and connected. So if it can be revived, that is what I'm suggesting. For example, you want to develop a design this thing. So therefore, it has to be looked at in a philosophical. What are the attributes of a designer? Whether this person is having that or not. If you're not having, how to develop that? So accordingly, you'll have to work it out. Of course, that is a very different, proposition to do at this moment, because the number is a big problem. So therefore, also the engineering tools, and then of course, there should be a what we call nowadays, a lot of emphasis given in the communication skills. Communication skills means what? Basically, how we can talk in English. That is not really communication. People may speak very good English, but they were not in a position to communicate the key points, which is very important. So, and when you talk about professionalism, and that is also a trait which has to be developed, not by in the educational system. It is rather it has to be professed by the teacher, and they will look at it and then inculcate. It cannot be taught in a class. Professionalism, ethics. It cannot be taught in a class. People are teaching in class, but that is not the matter to be taught in that way, and then it will be spoiled, according to me. And then, of course, the management of tools and management, how to manage. And when you say the how to manage, the question arises whether you know how to manage yourself. And today we find it's very difficult to manage our time. So coming back to that, I will be maybe coming to the conclusion that this is an opportunity for us to relook at our education system and how we can contribute for reorienting and repositioning ourselves in the new paradigm of the inner student, and also the new changes, what will be happening. And with this, I will say that there is a great opportunity for us to relook at the entire engineering education, and keeping that mind, the question, that a lot of responsibility comes into us on the shoulder of teachers and also the administrators and also the entire institute. And institute can blossom provided our student will be blossoming well in the garden of life. So thank you very much. Sabko namaskar. Dhanyavad. Thank you.
I have got one small observation. You said there are 5 P's in OBE. You started with a paradigm. Yes, definitely it's a paradigm shift in the way we teach and the way the students learn, what are the other five, what are the other 4 P's, sir?
See, there's a one is the paradigm, other is your purpose and premises, and then there is another one is the principle and practices. Right. If you look at, I've talked about paradigms. I've also talked about purposes. Okay. What I talked about the purposes is that what is the purpose of this? Purpose is basically to impart the knowledge and competencies and qualities. I've already discussed about this. Okay. But I didn't use those words. It is the purpose. And of course, purpose I have used, but I didn't use premises. Premises is that, as I told, this all student has the capability to learn and need not to be in the same time, in the same way. Right? That is the basically premises. As I told, all individual is potentially divine. And as I told, man is a curious and creative creature. And if he's curious, he has to learn. Right? So, and it need not to be the same time, depending on the mood, depending on situation. And these are all embedded in our mind, embedded in our social milieu and in our scriptures. And what is the principle? Principle basically clarity of focus. And we should have a design down the curriculums and expanded opportunities, right? Basically, you give a proper ecosystem for the student. And practices, as I told, we'll have to define what will be the outcomes, design curriculum, and how to deliver. I told no, delivering, not that. How to teach and what are the methodology of doing that, how to document, what is the outcome. I emphasize on the research, like there should be educational research that has to be taken, and see that how you can modify so that it will be improved. So these 5 paradigms I have already covered in my lectures, but without putting those words, Okay. Sometimes I have put, sometimes I didn't put deliberately. Why? So that you could catch it or not.
अगले बार तो यहीं आ जाइए आप प्लीज. Here we will spend some time. Okay.
Yes.
In fact, even in Allahabad, I missed you when you came, I was not there on that day. Right.
Yeah.
चलिए, जब आपने कहा कि सबको संगीत तो आता है, सब संगीत सीखते हैं, मगर इलाहाबादी घराने में जब संगीत बोला जाता है वो दूसरे होते हैं ना. So everybody has that. Carnatic music is different. Exactly. Yes. What he has been trying to tell is make your own syllabus, make your own curriculum. Objectives are known to you. Make your way of teaching it. That's very interesting, and that has got to be understood. Yeah, well then, the Debi Prasad Mishra is known for very rational, very, very outspoken person, which you have observed him now. I'm very thankful. It was the best fitting lecture, opening up the mind. So opening up the thinking avenues. I should now make it very clear. Let us not work for somebody else's vision. We work for our vision. When we make our mission clear, way of achieving will be known. If somebody tells walk in this way, and you do not know what is that way, where do you walk? All right. So thank you very much, Professor Debi Prasad Mishra. और एक बार फिर मिलेंगे. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot. On behalf of all the participants, on behalf of VFSTR, Vignan's Foundation for Science, Technology and Research, Vignan's Lara, Vignan's Nirula, and Vignan's Pharmacy College, I thank you very much for addressing all of us, the participants of this FDP on OBE. And we hope that our next session with you will be face-to-face and not in the online mode. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Have a good day, sir.